Hi there, in my garden podcast today, he's like a feeder but for gardeners. He's like, bought me seeds, bought me seed potatoes, he's also bought me 10 bags of muck. Mr. Muck. Sounds filthy, doesn't it? Sounds like a nightclub in Soho in the 70s. And relax. It's over. Well, it's nearly over. Winter. The imprisonment for all gardeners. You just look out the window at a load of brown stuff that looks dead and like it will never spring back to life. But no, there are signs of spring everywhere. As I tell our daughters, and I've always told our daughters, on really, there's walks that you take your kids on, you think is going to be really good fun, but no one really enjoys themselves. Everyone quite can't wait to get back home. But on a kind of February, early March walk, I would, of course, begin spotting everything with slight bud attached to it, or a slight sprouting of something, or fresh green coming through, and call it signs of spring. Look, girls, signs of spring. Now, when you're 6, 7, 8, maybe that's pushing it, that's quite exciting because you've been told in the tone of voice to be excited, haven't you? Oh, look, signs of spring. Oh, yeah, Mum, look. Mummy, look, is that a sign of spring? No, darling, that's a crisp packet on the side, but never mind. Someone's been out, haven't they? Lovely. But now they're older and so wise at the age of 15 and 13. They're so clever and smart. They don't need that. But it is payback because they will never, ever escape signs of spring. And in fact, one of our girls came home from a bike ride the other day with a mate and she went, I couldn't help myself. I said to my mate, hey, look, signs of spring. And then I realised I sounded like a real idiot, just like you, Mum. And then I think she pulled the V's up behind my back, but I can't actually provide any evidence for that. So, here we are. Signs of spring in the garden after a considerably long period of time indoors. In fact, it's a considerably long period of time in the UK not really doing anything at all. So it is a delight to get a change of scene, frankly. And yes, the temperature is cold and it's chilly if you're not moving. But there's no wind, it's a blue sky, it's sunshine, sunshine, sunshine. So I'm getting my gardening on. I'm getting my muscles built up again. I'm trying not to overdo it, but I am a bit excited. I have in my hand a Stanley knife, a sharp, watch yourself, don't do anything with that you shouldn't do. But let's just go in the greenhouse first and get a tool before I show you what I'm going to do with my Stanley knife. So, this is the first year of the greenhouse. Star date 1st of March 2021. Greenhouse, year 1. Come on, in we go. So, let's get that shut. Oh my God. I break a pane of glass, I'm actually going to get divorced from. I think my husband will divorce me on pain of death. Get it? So I can't quite, never mind, we'll do that later. What I've done, you may remember from such times as Series 1, my garden podcast, I brought in things like Modelphiniums, Cannas, hostas. I brought those in to protect them over the winter. Now, I've never done that. I've just always left stuff out, a bit haphazard. But I thought, now I'm professionalising with a small greenhouse, I can do such things as bring them in. So they'll be ready to go out soon. But we had a frost last night, and I dare say we'll continue to have frosts until the end of March. So I'm going to hedge my bets. I'm finding this quite difficult because I've not actually spoken into a microphone on the podcast for a little while. So even my mouth moving doesn't feel that fluent. Should do warming up, shouldn't I? Me, 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 la, la, la. Oh, that's a bit off key. Anyway, Sure, I'll get the hang of it. So, what are you doing this summer, hey? What are you doing this spring? What are you doing with your garden? What am I doing with my garden? I don't know, is the answer, but I feel rather under pressure. Husband, beautiful, handsome husband, went off and ordered me. Joey, leave it. You can't have that. Cucumber seeds, can't have that. Loads and loads of seeds. We've got cucumbers, tomatoes, lettuce, I don't know, I said it like that, so I was reading it, lettuce, coriander, didn't know you could grow that, Brussels sprouts at the other end of the spectrum, rocket, leek, cabbage, chili peppers, loads of things. I now feel quite under pressure to deal with them in some sort of organised fashion, but I can't be bothered. So what I've done instead is taken the potatoes that he ordered me, the seed potatoes, and read about them. Got a bit excited. So I've got some instructions here, and I'm currently doing in this box chitting them. No, chitting them. Don't be rude. And what that means, I now know, means you're getting some sproutage off them in order before you put them in the dark soil. So you're going to get a bit of sproutage to give them a head start. Now these are Casablanca earlies, which means they will provide us with salad potatoes, new potatoes, June, July time. I'm really concerned I'm going to do what I did last year, which was like an absolute idiot. What is it, Joey? Leave the cat alone. What is it? I'm some sort of magnet for furry friends, as it were, at the moment. Wherever I go, they're there in my grill. Anyway, so where was I? Potatoes. What I'm worried about is goofing it like I did last year, which was to sow a whole packet of something because I thought that's what you did and I didn't even think about it. So I'm worried that if I put all of the potatoes in the ground, we're going to have a glut of potatoes, which we won't know what to do with. We'll be eating wall-to-wall potato salad, basically, won't we? In the summer. So I want to stagger my journey into potato growth. So I'm doing a bit of chitting with half of them. The other half are in this nice box, keeping dry and warmish. And so I'll just stagger. Anyway, we'll just see. I don't know how many potatoes I'll get off each seed potato. I don't really know how to plant them. It's all that have a go gardener stuff. Right, what's this Stanley knife for? Let's go and have a look. New feature alert. What's happening in your garden? Why don't you tell me about it? Record it as a voice memo on your phone and email it to hello@bitfamous.co.uk. Today we're hearing from Andy at the Lodge Garden in Cheshire, England.
I was going to do this from the garden, but the geese are just so noisy out there. The lodge is what was the entranceway to Slough Country Park. I'm fortunate to live in the lodge and I look after its garden. I've been sharing its garden journey on Lodge Garden 1 on Twitter. But here's a little update of what's been going on this week. Quite a few things have been happening. We've had a box hedge planting. It's only 8 inches high and there are too many gaps, but they'll fill out and it will form the edge of what's going to be the kitchen garden. So big plans there for herbs and veggies and so on. Also cleared out a very old overgrown border full of ivy and some rotten old driftwood and such. So that's all gone. Some lovely low maintenance shrubs there. Still giving a bit of colour. So we've got Pyracantha with its fabulous red berries, Pyrrhus with great red bracts, and we've got Camellia. Also planted some seeds. So we've got tomatoes, we've got salvia, so hopefully that's the first time for me. That will be for some block fill of colour in the borders. And third time for echinacea. Not sure what's been going on there, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get some lovely echinacea flowers, so a couple of different varieties there. So that's my whirlwind tour of Lodge Garden 1, and back to Penny. Thank you.
Love that, very professional. I'm going to be checking out Pyracantha as a hedge solution out the front. So, stepping away from the greenhouse, Mr. Husband has also He's like a feeder, but for gardeners. He's like, bought me seeds, bought me seed potatoes. He's also bought me 10 bags of muck, which is a combination of manure and compost. And with the new veg boxes that we've got, these big 2 metre long, 1.5 metre wide veg boxes, something like that, we're going to be putting all those seeds in eventually. Cucumbers, some other stuff, lettuce, not too much of it, potatoes, etc. So they're only half full of some old compost of our compost heap at the moment. So what I'm going to do is split some of these bags of Mr. Muck. Sounds filthy, doesn't it? It sounds like a nightclub in Soho in the 70s. We're going to put some Mr. Muck in and just get the soil really good. Going to get it really good for when the seedlings go in. Oh, I'm knackered just thinking about it, all the work. And I think that's when you've not done something for so long, the perception of doing it is more hard work than the actual doing it. So all winter you're like, oh, I can't wait to get in the garden, can't wait to get in the garden. And you get in the garden, you're like overwhelmed by how much there is to do, how much you want to do, the lack of ability, manpower, woman power, the lack of hours in the day, etc. And all of a sudden you're a bit tired because you haven't got your strength back to do it. But it does come back, it just takes a little while. Plenty of hot baths after days of gardening, I'm sure, to soak the muscles. So we've got 2 jobs to do. We've got to just split this bag. Let's just get on with it. Let's stop chatting about it. Let's get on with it. How do you split a bag? Hey, do you go across diagonally? Hey, like that? Or do you go from the top and then tip it out? Doesn't really matter, does it? Now, is it going to stink of horse poo? That's what I want to know. I remember my parents getting, probably every year, a lorry load, it felt like a lorry load anyway, of manure, actual manure. Oh, that's a bit heavy. Oh, there we go. Dumped onto the drive. And then my dad would spend like a whole afternoon shoveling shit. Shoveling manure into his little wheelbarrow and trundling it round right up to the end of the garden. Oh, I've just realised I've recreated my parents' life in my own garden. I'm going to have potatoes, I'm going to have this. It's all at the end of the garden in the sunny spot. I'm getting stuff delivered and dumped on the drive. But at least this stuff doesn't smell at all. That's a bit of a shame. I quite like the smell of manure. I feel like I'm on a farm. But I'm not. I'm not on a farm and I don't feel like it right now. Right, okay. I feel like I'm rambling. I feel like I'm really, really chit-chatting, like I've not actually had chance to speak for months to anyone other than my husband and my children. And that would be the case. I haven't really, apart from Zoom calls, work stuff. So I'm just pushing out this incredibly black manure, muck stuff, compost. I'm just literally using my fingers as a rake, actually. I'm just going to come around to the other side just to spread it out a bit. You know, I like using a rake, but I do think if you've got time to use your hand, you can get into all the knotty bits, all the big lumps, and you can sift it a little bit more. A bit like baking. Probably best done with your hands to just get all the lumps out, and also you can feel the level really nicely. And you know what? I've got gloves on, but there is a really nice feeling of being down with the hands in the soil and going through these lumps and just rubbing them so they're a bit less lumpy. It's very satisfying. So where I've done that, it looks really nice. I don't know whether I should be digging it in with the other stuff or whether the rain will just help the nutrients penetrate the existing soil. Look at me with big words, nutrients. Oh, I do love it. Every now and again I come across a out of our compost, a milk bottle top. Doesn't compost, does it? The family aren't getting that memo though, are they? No. So you get all the twigs out and things like that, and it looks like a really nice, finely milled seed bed. So yeah, I think I'm going to have to do another bag actually, just to finish off this veg box. So put another couple of sacks in there, get it really nice, and then in a couple of weeks I think my seed potatoes will be well chitted. I don't quite know how to use it as a verb actually. To chit, I chit, you chit. They'll have sprouts on them basically, have stuff growing off them, and then I will you see, you didn't come here for my expertise, did you? And then we'll put those in the ground and then hopefully have potatoes soon. So yeah, it's exciting. It's wonderful to be back. It really is. So nice to breathe the fresh air and feel the sun on your face and know that there's so much potential and abundance of wonderful things that will be happening over the next few months.